Oh, yeah. I'm unstoppable. I'm like a Porsche with no brakes.
Wouldn't it be a Lamborghini with no brakes for the podcast and the show and everything else?
Right. No, there's a song. I can't think of what. I'm unstoppable. I think it's Sia is the singer.
Oh, boy.
And that's my theme song, you know?
Is this modern music?
Yeah, it's modern music. I could be wrong on who the singer is. I'm not that great with modern music.
Look at you.
You know what? I follow more than you would think because of like Pandora, and I listen to the local college radio station around here. And there's a lot of modern stuff that I listen to, and it gives me ideas. Like I don't go buy like albums anymore, even though I got to buy the new Alice Cooper album that came out this week or last week. Yeah, so like I listen to it, and then I kind of put it in the rotation on Pandora, and then that gives me other newer songs, stuff like that. So
I know Kings and Wilkes down by me have stations, and I think you're picking up what, University of Scranton?
Yes, or Marywood University.
And Marywood, okay. I remember because I used to be a big college radio guy back in my younger days.
Yep. I wasn't. I'll tell you, I didn't. You know, like they like everybody's high school and blah blah blah. That's your wheelhouse of like music and stuff. I had mine, like no, and they're all the ones that I talk about a billion times, like AC/DC, Alice Cooper, Warren Zevon. You know, I did like Johnny Cash always. I did like I'm trying to think of like Louis Armstrong. I would like a lot of different things, but I didn't go to concerts and I didn't buy a ton of albums, and I didn't I had my 30 things that I would listen to, but I was a comic and like sci-fi guy, so that was like my niche that got pushed to the side. Yeah. And then I like later on in life, like in my like 30s is when I really found music. And then like you know when I found music was when the definitive Colonel Sanders artist bought me an iPod.
Oh.
And it was of the thing. Now I could put all this music on here and not have like the big flip CD book for my truck, or you know what I mean? Like that's where it opened me up. And I was like, anybody who has anything, and back then you just gave people MP3s and it'd be like, hey Matt, hey so-and-so, hey Scott, hey what, like let's all just take our external hard drives and be like, what are you looking for? And be like, well, I know you like this, so maybe you'd like this. You like this, maybe you like that. And that's when it was like, oh, like fucking music. You know what I mean? Like I'm backwards on that.
Yeah. So it's, you know, obviously I'm a little bit younger than you. Mm-hmm. So I came up like really during the MTV generation.
Right.
And when I hit like about like, let's say like 93, 94, which would have been like my going into junior year of high school, I was really into all the local college radio stations and stuff. I don't even know if they pick up these days. Like they still all exist, but just the way that like cars are not equipped to pick up such a small band these days.
I don't know. I pick up Marywood I can't speak for Wilkes because I don't even know what Wilkes is like how far we would get it here. But like Marywood, I'll be listening. I'll be doing my errands like Scranton, like up into Hartsfield, and I'll get it the whole way, you know.
So I'm like I said, I remember when I lived at home, you know, which is the house that my brother lives in. Mm-hmm. From there, I was able to get Marywood, right? Mm-hmm. Which is a good, you know, distance. It's like kind of sort of like where the New Sheets is. You know where the New Sheets is down in that way?
In Taylor?
Yes.
I know, yeah, I know exactly. I know Taylor pretty well.
Right. So being able to pick up Marywood from there, and then I wouldn't be able to get Wilkes or Kings from my house. But then okay, wait. So I could get Kings from my house, but I couldn't get Wilkes from my house. I would go down further, like into Music, to a buddy of mine that lived a little bit further south, and then we could pick them all up. But I do remember Marywood had like one of the stronger signals.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, like, in today's modern cars, I don't think you could pick them up just on your regular antenna. I like Kings and Wilkes. I know you said Marywood is no problem. I'm going to have to do some experiment when I go out cruising tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I never really listened to because I'm down this way. So.
Yeah.
The only place that I ever had trouble getting radio was in the Notch in Clark Summit.
Okay.
Going through there because like you can't even get Rock 107, which is like less than a mile away because of the mountains. It's tough. It's like all fuzzy. You know,
we have a weird dead spot by us. They just recently put in a light by my house, and I say recently, like within the last like 2 years, right?
Right now, do you mean a stoplight, a street
like
light,
a stoplight, a street light, like a regular red light or stoplight, a regular red, yellow, green light, right?
Okay.
That had never been there before, but like, you know, they put a Taco Bell there and whatever, and that light had never been there before. So now when we sit under that light to make the left or the right, left taking my kid to school or right, whatever, none of the radio stations come in sitting under the light. Like if we're like 2 cars back, 3 cars back, no problem. If we're like the first one in line, whatever electricity there just completely interferes with all the radio coming in.
Right, and none of your brain waves does it interfere with.
No.
That's probably the government reading your mind while you're sitting at the red light, Joe.
This past weekend was my little niece's birthday party.
Oh, so you got to see the family.
Well, I like to see the family. We had a very busy weekend. We did not come uptown for the Italian festival, and, you know, we can get into that if you'd like.
Yep.
Because, again, if we're not talking about music, we got to talk about food.
Yep.
And she's 7... and she had a TikTok-themed birthday party.
Oh, so she likes clocks. Got it.
Uh-huh. Big Clock King fan.
Yeah.
But a lot of the older folks that were there, like older aunts and uncles and stuff, were complaining about how, I don't know how they let her have this sort of party. Don't they know that TikTok is just spying on us for the Chinese?
Well, it is, but go ahead.
And I'm like, it's a 7-year-old's birthday party. Let her have fun.
They're going to get some of that 7-year-old sensitive information.
Right. And the other thing on top of it is TikTok is shorthand for all those other things, right?
Right.
Like YouTube has YouTube Shorts. Facebook and Instagram, I think, has Reels, is what it's called.
Right, and then wasn't there Vines or something?
Vine is like a long time ago. R.I.P. There's people today. Vine, I don't think has been around for like 6 years, and there's people today that just, I still have my YouTube video favorited of all my favorite Vine compilations. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people like Vine is because it kept you to a certain time limit, and that's kind of sort of how all these other ones started out. But now my kid will send me like a YouTube short that's like 3 minutes long, and I'm like, this is just a YouTube video. But I guess the logistics of it is you can only monetize your video if it's a certain length. But if your video is under a certain length and you still want to attempt to monetize it, you could put it on YouTube Shorts, whatever. I just use YouTube for everything, but like she, my little niece, watches YouTube Shorts. But she's a little kid, so she calls that TikTok. My kid watches YouTube Shorts. He calls that TikTok. My wife watches stuff on Facebook Reels, and she calls that TikTok. Right. So TikTok is like the ubiquitous thing. I don't think there are people using TikTok, but because it's all been splintered out by the social media stuff that everybody else already uses, everybody else is already using those instead of having something on top of TikTok. And all of that being said, please let the Chinese spy on me.
I'll say this. So you're basically saying TikTok is the Kleenex of social medias.
Yes. Of short form digestible content.
Yes. I'm not going to but that's fine. And I'm fine with the Chinese spying on me too, because boy, are they going to get all the up-to-date hot Doctor Who news and what comic covers I'm collecting. Let them get all that secret information, you know? My sadness over the Raiders, you know.
Right.
And I guess it would be all just the W word, so.
Right. Yeah, listen, you brought it up.
I know. I said the W word. That could mean anything. Words,
Right. Could mean anything.
Yeah.
But like I said, we had a busy weekend. I had a bunch of podcast stuff to record. We did the Patreon show for previewing the past. Another home run.
Home run, Chippa.
It's just been consistent home run after home run.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to all of this, we just never stop. And then I had the Patreon show to do for the Adults Wrestling show. I got name dropped as a plug on one of my favorite outside of all of this.
Is it the one that makes fun of podcasts?
Yes.
Okay.
And my friend of the show, my buddy Matt, did a super chat, which I don't know if you need me to explain those.
Is that like a TikTok of chats?
No.
Okay.
He did a super chat plugging At Odds, and the host thought it was something in code, because usually people send stuff in code trying to get them to say racist stuff.
Okay. The Rob is a Longbox hero.
Yes. So that was fun, but like I said, we had a lot of running around. Like Ace had a bunch of little friends over on Saturday, so it was like almost like an end of year pool party sort of thing. We had the birthday party on Sunday, and then then Monday they brought hell upon the Northeast.
Yes, it is very, very hot. And that being said, how's my air conditioner?
So we're babying it.
Mm-hmm.
So it had been going well, because it's so hot, like we could put it at like 78, and still it's
a cool, balmy 78 degrees.
Well, when it's 93 outside,
yeah,
it puts it down to like about 76 in the house.
Right.
So Sunday after the birthday party, I went up to soon to be named Network North to watch the World Wrestling. I almost said the World Wrestling Entertainment, the AEW pay-per-view, and I get the message from April that says, "Yeah, the thing is blowing, but it's not blowing cold air, so I'm going to shut it off." So the AC was off all day Monday, like it was like all night Sunday, all day Monday. We were just in the pool all day on Monday. Like we got out of the pool to like eat and go to the bathroom, and that was it. We just stayed in the pool all day.
I would have got out of the pool to do one of those.
Wow, to eat? Listen, if I had a float that was sturdy enough, I'd have my headphones in, I'd have a sandwich and a diaper.
Yeah.
But then when it got to night, and we're like, okay, it's like 9 o'clock at night, and it still says it's like 88 degrees out. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll put the air on overnight to see how it goes. We kept it on today low, and right now it's still blowing cool. The people that came to service it were supposed to give us an estimate. Oh, so what we have is, because the unit we have is so old, I think it's from the 70s, right. They stopped making parts and the Freon for it like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
So they were supposed to get in touch with us with a quote to like replace the whole system. And that was like 2 weeks ago, and they haven't got back in touch with us yet.
Okay.
But it's working intermittently. Like, we let it run for a couple days, then we got to give it like a day off. It's just that we were expecting that like it's September, but that doesn't mean summer's over. Summer's technically not over until there's snow on the ground.
Right, because spring and fall around here lasts for 3 weeks, and then it's like blistering hot or freezing cold. So
exactly,
that's the 4 seasons around here.
So with that being said, we did not go up to the Italian festival just because we figured it would just be so goddamn hot, And
it was.
Yeah,
it was. So I went Sunday, because I had nothing going on, so I went Sunday. So I drove down. I got a spot close by, so I was happy. I was only a block away, literally like half a block from the comic shop, and then half a block, a full block from where I'm parked to the Italian festival. So I was like, all right, this is nice. So I walked down. Becky was working, so I was like, oh, you want anything? She's like, no, I ate before I came in. I said, all right. So, and it was hot, but I really didn't notice it. And then I went, and I did my basic thing, because if anybody who doesn't know, the Italian festival is on the square, so it's you walk around it, And I was like, all right, I do a once around no matter what before I touch anything. You know what I mean? It's like, what do they have? What do I want? So I went around once, and I was like, oh, okay. I was hoping for a couple places, and there was a lot less Italian place. This is the least Italian festival than it's ever been. There was a lot of like the deep fried whatevers and Oreos, whatever. And I'm like, I've had those before. I'm not in the mood for those. But a lot of the pizza places and stuff that weren't nearby my house that I liked, they weren't there. There was like a place called Nico's that I really liked, and that wasn't there. There was a couple. There was like brisket places, and there had to be 6 lemonade places. And I'm like, all right, this is all great, but it's not the Italian festival. So in the end, I got a couple different slices of pizza, and I got a bowl of gnocchi, and that's what I ate. And then I had like 3 different lemonades with different flavoring. So that was my big treat, and I was shaking on the way home.
I was going to say, that sounds like last year we went, and that's kind of what the selection was. Pretty much. I was joking that there was a bunch of Italian ice places, or for that weekend, what they called them, ice places.
Right.
And I remember last year there was a place that was selling, like, I guess it would be, what if garlic knots were a sandwich?
Right. Yes, that was one of the big ones. Yes.
Yeah, and it was just like you could get like a little piece of sausage or a little meatball or a little piece of chicken parmesan, and the like little sliders, but they're garlic knots, and they were delicious. And I kind of miss those, but I also kind of missed melting as well.
Right. So that was the thing. So like I did my like 3 rounds. You know what I mean? And while I was there, I wasn't melting. It was hot. It was like really hot, but I don't know, like something happened to me as I got older. I noticed this when I went to Rage Against the Machine in New York when we had that heat wave on the East Coast. And while I walked around, there wasn't a drop of sweat on me, Joe. I was dry as a bone. Like I was like, I'm hot, but I'm dry. So I got my drinks and I went back to the comic shop. Like I was like, I'm going to sit down for a little bit. I'll talk to Becky or whatever. And when I got in, she had the air blowing in the shop, and I sat down. And as soon as I got in the cold air, my shirt went from bone dry to soaked. And I it took me like 45 minutes to an hour to like stop sweating, because I guess my body was just like, oh, now it's not evaporating or whatever. You know what I mean? Now it's just all coming out. And I was like, that's very weird. I remember sweating a lot when I was out, but I would say it's, you know, that old saying, it was a dry heat. It wasn't very humid. Like humidity makes me sweat like crazy, but this was weird. This was just weird. So, but I had a good time, had some decent food, spent way too much money, and went home, you know?
That's usually how these things work.
Yep.
So getting back to music, I don't think we have anything planned, but I don't think we're going up to the mountain for the big Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper deal this weekend. I know you said you are, yes?
As of right now, there's no definitive. My phone is literally blowing up with 3 people asking me what's going on. I turned the ringer off for you, Joe. I know.
Thank you.
Like that. But literally, me, Josh, and Scott are in a group chat, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. While Matt, who lives, you know, in Georgia, he's coming up for it because he won tickets the last time he was in. So he's like, "Are you guys going?" And I'm like, well, we're discussing it right now, and it's becoming a cluster because it's like, oh, are we going to get tickets? Because it'd be me, Josh, Scott, and Milan. And I'm like, okay. So I think there's deals on 4 tickets. Like if 4 tickets are if tickets are $30 a piece for the general admission, they're $20 for groups of 4. But Josh does the ticket opportunity where he goes to the thing and goes, oh, I have a digital ticket, but I lost my phone or it didn't charge. Can you give me a physical ticket? And I'm like, okay, well, if that's, you know, if we can get a good deal on 4, to hell with your you know, physical ticket kind of a deal. So it's become, I have no idea what's going on right now. Everybody's like, well, what's this deal? I got a Groupon over here. And I'm like, all right, boys, let's just get 4 tickets real cheap and be done. But I have a feeling that's not going to work out.
I'm just looking at like some generic ticketing thing, right?
Okay.
And they're not a sponsor, so I won't name them. But it looks like there are decent lawn seats available for like $34 each.
Right. Well, like I said, Matt just sent me a Groupon thing.
Yeah.
And it literally has $20 tickets for lawn seats.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to send this to everybody in the other group. So,
but that's the other thing. It's Friday at 6. According to this, that's a little early, don't you think?
Well, I don't think the concert will start at 6. That's doors opening, probably. Yeah. I guarantee you that concert will start at 7 or so, and that'll be the schlubby local opening band that as soon as they say, thank you, we're so-and-so, somebody goes, you suck, get off the stage, and then Alice will open and Rob, like, 9 o'clock, Rob Zombie will be going on. I guarantee it. Because like every concert I've gone to, when they say 6 o'clock, that's the doors. There's beer. There's food trucks on the mountain. Probably. I don't know about that, but there is drinking. Yeah. So it'll be a party. You know what I mean? You could go tailgate and stuff. So I definitely do not think the concert started at 6.
Well, I didn't think, like I said, obviously it's not like 6:01 they're going out, but still, I don't get done with work till 6. By the time we wrangled everyone and got up to the mountain, and the traffic is already going to be a pain in the ass to get in there anyway, Right. They're not going to be busing them from the lot that's a mile away like they do for
Peach Fest.
Peach Fest. I was going to say Strawberry Fest or whatever the hell it's called.
I don't know that one.
No, Strawberry Peach Fest. I knew it was a fruit fest.
Right.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
No, I'm done.
I was going to say, I got a last but not least. We were at the grocery store. I actually got my kid to get out of the car and go look around the grocery store,
Right.
All the places around here are sold out of Creepy Carmella. What's the one? The new one?
Yes, Creepy Carmella, I think so.
And then I go, oh, look, they have the monster cereals. Do you care about any of these? And he goes, nah, not really. But for Reese's Puffs, which is a cereal that he enjoys,
right?
Their Halloween version of it is, instead of the normal Reese's Puff shape, which is just a circle.
Mm-hmm. These are pumpkins now?
Bats. They're in the shape of bats. And I go, oh, you like those cereals? You want to try the Halloween version of them? He goes, I've had them. And he goes, they just don't taste right. He goes, they do something to them, make them in that weird shape, and it does something to the flavor. And I'm like, there you go. He would know.
Yeah, he's got a little of his father in him.
Oh, more
Stan.
Yeah.
But, well, at least he's eating cereals. I like that. So
yeah. He's a big cereal kid. I'm not a cereal anything. I don't want to get into cereal again today, No,
I got you. Then we would be a cereal podcast.
Right. Well, there is already a podcast that's called that. But, again, it has nothing to do with cereal, so it's a little misleading,
Yep.
Anything else, I guess, for this week?
No. I mean, we'll see about next what's gone on for me over the weekend, next weekend. Because there's, not only with the concert on Friday,
right?
Then 2 people want me to go to 2 separate cons on Saturday, and then we're thinking about doing football on Sunday. So I might have the most jam-packed weekend I have ever had in my entire life, or I will do absolutely nothing.
And for someone who is looking to become a shut-in and do nothing, that's going to be a jam-packed weekend. Even if you do one of those 2 things, that's like a whole day.
Right. The one I want to do most is probably the football. Then after that, we'll see. So.
Now, what is the football? That's just going to...
Miller's down in Wilkes-Barre.
Oh, okay.
Most likely. That's the site, because it's halfway between us and like that's the halfway distance between me and Scott. So me and Josh go down there. Scott will come up here like that way, and we go. But if they wanted to go somewhere else, I'm fine with it. But I like going out and having the games on, and you can just be like, oh, they scored, but so did you read this or did you watch this and blah blah. Oh, did you see that play? Like that's kind of, it's like it's just fun for me. So, and I haven't seen. Well, I saw Josh. Josh was at the Italian festival, so I walked around with him and his two lovely young ladies who were with him, so his daughters. So we went for a little walk. Like, we ran into each other. But Scott, I've only seen since football last time. And this is sad, me and him saw The Flash, and that's the only time between now and January that I've seen him. So it's going to be nice to get back out and, see some people I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, I see everybody I need to see.
Yeah, well, he does, like, for summer, for work. He does a lot of, like, driving and stuff. Like, his busiest season is the summer. So, like, trying to find him is, like, trying to find a ghost. So, but either way, I'll do something, and I'll report back next week.
Right, and I got my wrestling, I got LVAC next weekend,
Yeah, I heard. Did you see who's coming?
Smoke Train Charles Wright's coming.
No, I think somebody that's not working anymore is going to be there.
Oh, well, do you really call what he was doing was working?
Oh, it is a work. But I'll say this. My walls on my social media held because I was playing Grand Theft Auto with your other co-host, Adam. And he's like, so what do you think about so-and-so not, getting fired? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And usually that would creep into at least my social medias.
Yeah.
And that's the way I found out was on Grand Theft Auto. And I'm like, whatever I'm doing, keep it up, Todd.
I would like to, because Saturday was busy and we were out with Ace and his buddies. I wasn't on social media very much, but I have different notifications if it's just like social media nonsense or a text. And I got a text, and I saw it was from DJ, and it was just that Phil got fired,
Right.
And so I got it. Yeah.
On his own accord.
No, he got fired.
Okay.
They had a press release. They had a special sit-down with the crowd before the show started. Yep. They had a special thing at the beginning of the show, and all the little colliders were tearing up and crying. I didn't care because Jeff Jarrett did something with Dennis Rodman on the show, so that's all that matters to me.
No, okay.
I watch wrestling for different reasons than everybody else watches wrestling.
Oh, sure you do.
I want to see Double J in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre match.
Anyway.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you very much for listening. This was Longbox Heroes After Dark 460, and we'll see y'all here next week.
You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks.